Welcome back to the Weeb Lounge. The anime I'm going over today is a classic. It is an OAV from way back in 1995. It is truly a classic, but also one of many examples that animation studio AIC just completely messed up. I wish they would have done a better job with this one. The anime we're talking about is A.I.C, the Magnificent World. The original OAV or OVA, whichever one you'll prefer, means the same thing. But this is one of the anime that AIC produced that they just completely botched on later on. You have several examples of that, like the Tenchi Muyo OAVs. Those are considered super classics. And then the TV series comes out, Tenchi Universe, which was okay, but they changed some things significantly and wasn't as good. And then they would come out with Shin Tenchi Muyo, which was just an awful piece of crap. The same thing happened with A.I.C. I'll get into that a little bit more later on, but first, let's get to some of the characters. Essentially, the two main characters are Makoto and Aphrodite. Now, Makoto is just typical high school guy, and he's in school along with, some other people and such, and kind of like late at night, he hears a little something, goes into a room, and all of a sudden, Aphrodite comes out of a capsule thing and is like, "Oh my God, I gotta transport you to the wonderful world, the magnificent world," and sends his ass off. He has no idea what the heck happened. Okay, he just knows he's now in another world. The thing is, Makoto and Aphrodite end up being like this loving relationship, and it really evolves until it gets all the way to the end of the story where the goal is for them to reunite. It's almost like a little bit of a time paradox stuck in there, so that's a little bit of a confusing point, but if you guys haven't seen it, I'll let you guys tackle that. Now, along with Makoto, there's a few other people that get transported along with. You have Janai and his sister. Janai Matsushiro, I can never pronounce his damn, Katsushiko. He's a dick, okay? Dick Janai, we'll just call him that. He gets transported to this other world, and when everybody gets transported to the other world, the humans anyways, they end up with getting like some kind of power or whatever. Like Makoto can interact with ancient technology. Janai here is basically able to communicate with the bug realm. Now, what the hell are the bug realm? Humanoid bugs, big old nasty little humanoid bugs want to kill things and take over stuff, led by like Queen Bee Diva or whatever. She's a bug, but that's a weird one. It's like, okay, so Janai, he's an ass. He's he's the evil human character and crap, and he aligns himself with Diva, and Diva, in order to make more bug realm, because the bug realm are getting their ass whooped, right? She has to mate, and there's to be another human, and Janai can talk to the things, and she wants to do him, and it's kind of a weird thing because he's like, I think she's a bug, and I ain't putting that in there. Yeah. So Janai at least has a little bit of moral, I guess, maybe, or whatever the hell you would call it. I never liked that character. He's a jerk. Typical old school anime jerk. I mean, he probably set the tone for everything else in the next 25 years. Now, his sister also gets to go with, and that is Natsumi. She is actually a really cool character. One of my more favorite in this series. And, she has the ability to see this phantom tribe. Like, you can see through their illusionary power or whatever it is. But she is she's kind and all, but damn, she is all about the money. Now, this girl all about the money. She'll start a business, she'll work her ass off, she'll do whatever it is to get that money. She's basically the incredibly resourceful character. That pretty much sums her up pretty well. And then you have the smoking, beer guzzling, worthless PE teacher, Fujisawa. He just kind of gets struck along, and he doesn't really do much, to be honest, except for one of the priestesses fall in love with him. Okay, there are a lot of characters in this. I'm trying to get to them pretty quick. Rune Venus, to get her out of the way, she's like queen super priestess or whatever of the kingdom that they're staying in, and I don't care about that character, so I'm not going to go into that. Then you have her sister, Photora Venus and everything, and along with Aliel, they're lesbians. They're doing their thing, and they're great characters. Don't get me wrong, they're awesome characters. And Makoto oddly looks like Photora, so Makoto has. There's a scenario where Makoto has to dress up like Photora in drag, and he's in bed, and Aliel, being Photora's significant other, mistakes him for her and gets all frisky, and it's a great scene. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it's from 1995, but that don't change a damn thing. Okay, I went over them really quick. Let's get to the priestesses. You have 3 of them. Basically, priestesses with magical powers, okay? Fire, wind, and water, okay? You have Mies Mishtal, which is basically the priestess of water. She's... all these priestesses are beautiful in their own right, but Mies is, like, really hungry for a husband. It's that typical character where she's getting a little older in life. She hasn't hooked up with anyone. She wants to get married, have kids, all that stuff, and that's the one-track mind thing. And that's where the sensei comes in, Miss Fujisawa sensei. He kind of sort of saves her. Not really. It's like he thinks she's in danger, so he leapt in to save her. She was never in danger, but she was like, oh, yay, he's a heroic guy, and he smokes and drinks a lot, and works for the government, and has a steady salary, that kind of thing. So she falls in love with him, and it's kind of funny, but he runs. He does not like this idea. And then you have Aframan. Aframan is probably one of my least favorite characters in this thing. She's the wind priestess, do wind powers and stuff, and her personality is just dry. It's like she's the super serious character, but they don't really. I mean, most of the time, the super serious characters, you can see them break or crack or whatever, or there's a little something else to their personality that makes them more relatable to the audience. And Aframan, it's just, I don't care about that character at all. Not one bit. They did not do a good job. My favorite character, however, is the 3rd priestess, Shayla. She is the redhead fire priestess. And I told you guys in the last video, if a character's primary attribute is fire, the hair's got to be red. It's an anime thing. It works. Whatever. Shayla, she's just awesome. It's like a kind of like a tomboy character, fiery redhead, that whole kind of thing. And that's the kind of character that I just like. So Shayla, she's my favorite. I don't care. Most people, it seems like Aphrodite from the OVAs is their favorite, but not mine. It's Shayla by like a freaking mile. So, what is the anime all about? It's literally a really, really old school isekai anime. Like, way before doing isekai anime was cool, whatever, right? You know, basically, this was one of the earliest, right? Probably not the first, but it's... As far as my age and how far back I go with anime, this is probably the first isekai anime I've ever watched. I'm sure there's more, but the goal is Makoto going through all these hoops and everything, dealing with the bug realm, dealing with the phantom tribe, dealing with the 3 priestesses and all the goofy stuff there, and how Photora got kidnapped or whatever the heck that was. It was just going through the hoops trying to get to the Aphrodite angle. And they find Aphrodite. Turns out Aphrodite is actually a machine, a robot, an android. It's humanoid, whatever. She's a super weapon, okay? She's a super weapon, and apparently a previous version of this world, there was like a massive war of which she was designed to fight, and they basically wiped everyone out. Think, you know, all-out Armageddon nuclear war, wipes out the human species, and, you know, a few thousand years later on or whatever, a remnant or something, right? That's pretty much what Aphrodite is. But in a sense, she's she's human. You know, how she's created, what she's created, we know what she's created for, but, you know, I don't know if, like, underneath her skin there's robot and metal, or if it's all biological and just, I have no idea. I ain't got a clue. But that's the whole main point of the anime, is Makoto finding Aphrodite and eventually going back to the regular human Earth world and enjoying life, which they eventually do. But they never really tell you how they do it. They don't. It's the whole time paradox thing. Aphrodite shows up at Makoto's school, sends him to the other world. And this has, like, making this trip or something is seriously affecting Aphrodite. It's like she's on the verge of death or something. You know, she goes outside, walks outside the school or whatever, and is waiting for Makoto, and all of a sudden, like basically like 5 minutes later, Makoto shows back up in some weird garb and shit. No idea how the hell he got there, and he was like, "Hey, I'm back. We're good." I don't know what happened between the thing and the thing. I don't know. The only thing I can guess is that he, using his new powers, was able to master the new technology and blah blah blah, was able to transport himself back to the other world through time and space or whatever to get back to Aphrodite and have happy robot sex or whatever the hell. I don't know what she is. I really don't. But this is where I want to get to the point of AIC really messing things up. Now, I went over how they kind of messed up some of the Tenchi Muyo stuff. Well, El Hazard, they did a much worser job, I guess. Now, they came out with the TV series, okay, after the OVA, and they did this with like Battle Athletes, El Hazard, Tenchi Muyo, Oh My Goddess, and a few others. Some a little bit more successful than others, but they all started as OVAs, direct-to-video kind of stuff. And eventually, they were like, oh, this could make for a good TV series, so they put it out on TV. That was kind of the formula back then. And AIC was notorious for it. You know, like Bubblegum Crisis. I mean, that's one of the other big ones. Like, that's old school. But they came out with the El Hazard TV series, and what did they do? Once again, just like the Tenchi universe, they changed some... They didn't just change, like, origins, okay? Ryoko, Washu, Tenchi Muyo, they kind of switched their origins or changed them up a little bit, but for the most part, the rest of the characters were the same. But in El Hazard, the TV series, instead of Ifrita now being this super powerful, very eloquent, very busty, very just eloquent character. I mean, I can't even say that word proper, but it's just a beautiful character. And then they go to the TV series and they turn her into a complete powerless moron, basically. You know, they turn her into a robot weapon clumsy blonde that's completely an idiot. The character from the OVAs is completely gone, and then you have this newer character, and basically nobody liked her. And then you have Rune Venus, like Ifrita and Makoto are not a thing in the TV series. That was the whole thing with the OVA. And then you go to the TV series. Now you have Rune Venus, you know, the priestess, super goddess, whatever from the OVA that ruled the kingdom or whatever, was a minor character. Now all of a sudden she's younger, a little bit more busty, and Makoto's love interest in this. They boot Ifrita out. They put Rune Venus in, and then, you know, overall the character, it is a cute character, it is a likable character, but it's not Ifrita. So they changed a whole dynamic. And along with the rest of, and so basically they have to change the rest of the story. They have to do some other stuff, and it's just garbage. It's just garbage. They tried to redeem themselves with an OVA 2 and go back to the continuity from the first one, and that did not work at all. In fact, the animation quality was much worse. The storyline was shit, and I found myself absolutely not caring about it. So after that, AIC, it seems like they just was like, yeah, El Hazard, no more of that. If they ever rebooted a series, I would love for them to go back, do a true continuity thing or what. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but pick up the original OVA, use that for your template, stick to it, and there's your whole series. Could have been the king of all isekai animes, and AIC dropped the ball. But don't drop the ball when you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, share the damn video, whatever platform you're on, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or wherever the heck I post this thing. Any kind of like, share, subscribe is very much appreciated. And with that, if you do want to go back and see a classic anime, El Hazard definitely qualifies as one of the top ones to watch, as long as it's the original first OVA and you leave it at that. You don't go to the other ones. We'll see you in the next video.